Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that.
See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. Rowpaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News as we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches. The BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Hey, how we doing? Good morning, Bronco Nation. Bright and early, Boise State getting set to face North Dakota inside Albertsons Stadium behind us. My name is BJ Rains. This is Jordan Kaye. We're with Bronco Nation News. And we are at the James Kitchen and Bar. They are not open yet, but you can come on by after the game for the post-game show. Heads up, it is Friday morning when we record this, so you're going to have some comments in there. We want your score predictions. Get all that in there, but we're not ignoring you. Just with a 10 a.m. game, to be full transparency, it was not possible to do a pregame show before the game today, so we are taping this pregame show, just so you know. But keep watching. We got an interview with Mike Sanford coming up. He's going to break down North Dakota. We got a lot of good stuff to get to, so I don't want to lie and tell you it's live, but we also didn't want you to jump off and not continue watching. So a little bit of a different pregame show today with the game being at 10 a.m., but obviously still a lot going on, and obviously a pretty darn important game. Who would have thought it for the 0-2 Broncos?
Yeah, I think you always look at the FCS game on the schedule, just roll your eyes a little bit, be like, oh, man, don't need that one. And, for probably good or bad, this game means a lot right now to Boise State, and it is going to be imperative that they don't just win, but pass the eye test, not just for fans, but for the coaches, for the players. Hey, is this a football team that we think is going to be able to beat San Diego State next week? Beat a Memphis team that really struggled against Navy 2 nights ago. That's going to be really important. And, I think we're going to kind of see, hey, what is Boise State made of?
Don't shake your leg here. You're shaking our screen here. Our very high-tech camera here on my laptop. But this is the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Shout out Lithia Ford, our title sponsor on the pregame show. Make sure you get out, check out their new EV, the all-electric F-150 Lightnings. You saw us talking about them last week when me and Jay were over there doing the show. So Lithia Ford of Boise, check them out. View their full inventory of vehicles, LithiaFordBoise.com. It is crazy when you think about it, that they're 0-2 and they got a lot on the line today. And we talked about it on Wednesday, and I talked about it pretty much all week. But, get your score predictions in the chat. But something tells me a 31-21 game ain't going to be good enough. These fans are wanting 55-3 or something, or they're not going to be happy.
It doesn't even need to be that, but man, you've got to show as an offense. Hey, first of all, Boise State hasn't made it to the red zone one time yet. The touchdowns have all come outside the red zone, which is partly good, but it's not a great sign that you're not able to move the ball into the red zone. Boise State needs to get in the red zone a couple times. They need to show that they can sustain drives. Yep. It doesn't necessarily mean putting up 50 points, but it means having these long drives, actually controlling the game, showing the offense isn't just one big play from Ash Genti here or there, that they can score in different ways.
I think it is 7 plays this season in the red zone. So let's give them the credit.
It really?
I think so.
I thought it was 0.
Because it was a 7-yard touchdown run against Washington from Ashton
right.
Genty.
Right.
I think it was 3 plays for Green, and I think actually at the end in garbage time against Washington, Maddox Madsen got down there. So, but it was 0 plays against UCF. You are correct, and
very little.
It is very little. We just want to be full transparency here. But 7 plays in the red zone in 2 games is pretty bad.
Really bad.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of teams that have gotten into the red zone 7 times.
And I saw some stat, Boise State ranks like 5th or 6th in the country. 41% of their passing yards are on passes thrown at or behind the line of scrimmage. So they're getting nearly almost half their passing yards. Taylon Green's not even throwing the ball 1 yard.
Which is fine. That's not, if you're still getting yards, that's a good, whatever. Get them however you can.
Yeah.
But Boise State hasn't even shown really the ability outside of, that early play to Steph Cobbs against Washington, a nice play to Eric McAllister that same game. They really haven't shown the ability to hit on deep balls or to really even hit on, 15-yard crossers or anything like that.
That's what it is for me. Today I want to see the downfield passing attack. We know Ashton Genty can run the ball. We know he can catch the screen passes and do all that. But I think Taylon Green has literally only attempted 13 passes or something of more than 10 yards the entire season. They're not even trying to really throw the ball downfield. And I think he's 1 of 10 completions on passes where the ball travels 20 yards. That was the Steph Cobbs play early in the Washington game. So I think this is a game where they really need to try to get the downfield passing attack going because they're going to need it in future games.
And I think this is one of those things for Boise State's wide receivers. In some ways, talking to them this week, it kind of feels like they feel they're slighted.
Yeah.
They're thinking, hey, we're getting what we think is good separation. As fans or media, we can maybe see it a little differently, but they're saying, hey, we're getting the separation we need. We think we're winning our things. Maybe we've just got to come down with the ball more, or, when we are getting the separation, we're just not getting it. And so, that's kind of one thing to watch too. This is not a group that is really hanging their head or really thinking, we've got to make a ton of adjustments. That they feel like they're doing fine and just haven't got the opportunities to show it.
So the 35 points in 2 games, everything we're talking about, is this a Taylon Green problem, a wide receiver problem, a Bush Hamden problem? Where do you spread the blame here for the offensive start?
It's so much stuff, but I think we as a collective of the outsiders, the media, the fans, all of us, perhaps we were a little too naive with how hard it can be during an offensive coordinator transition. Hell, Dirk Cutter spoiled a lot of people last year. He kind of made it easy. Hey, I can come in 1 week notice and we're going to look like a completely different team.
Yeah.
It takes time to understand schemes and flows in a new offensive coordinator. And when you're playing against 2 really good teams out of the gate, those problems really get exacerbated. And so I think that's kind of what's happening here is Boise State is having some growing pains with the new offense, a new offensive coordinator. It doesn't help that, man, it was very clear during that UCF game that something was up with Taylon Green. We saw at halftime the announcers were talking about his ankle was just severely taped. It didn't look like he was able to run much. Then he obviously cramped up and left the game. I mean, that can't be helping either. And so it's going to be kind of interesting. But it's a lot of factors. I don't think you can pin the blame on any one thing.
Well, we will talk about the defense here in just a second, but don't forget Mike Sanford coming up with a breakdown of North Dakota. Looking forward to hearing from Mike Sanford here in a few minutes, but do want to thank a couple of our sponsors. Rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. Make sure you check them out, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. The one-day install, 5 times stronger than epoxy on those concrete coatings. Highly recommend it. We've had them do it twice, once in our garage, once in our back patio. Highly recommend the concrete coatings from rowpaint.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, their fall kickoff sale is going on. Make sure you check out lithiafordboise.com to view their full inventory of vehicles at Lithia Ford of Boise. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Check them out, the best in mobile e-branch online banking. Our friends at Idaho Central Credit Union. So happy that the Rains family made the switch. It was kind of part of our deal, but I'm happy we did because ICCU has been so easy to work with. We can move money around. It's all such an easy process. You can find a branch pretty much at every corner, but you only have to go in once, then you never have to go back in. You can do it all right there from your phone or online. So check them out, ICCU.com. And the Blue and Orange store, if you need some new Boise State gear, how about those new NIL hats, the script logo that Ashton Genty has, the retro logo, Taylon Green, the NIL hats designed by some of your favorite Broncos. You can get them exclusively at theblueandorangestore.com. Free shipping, any order over $40. Or if you're in the Boise area, you can just go to the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall there. We appreciate Travis Hawks and company at the Blue and Orange Store for their support of Bronco Nation News. All right, let's talk about the defense for a little bit here, and then we're going to get to Mike Sanford and his breakdown of the game. Again, another thing we'd like to see is the defense not getting beat over the top every other play. That'd be a nice place to start.
Yeah, that would be helpful for Boise State. And don't think that North Dakota is not going to come out. Maybe first play like UCF, definitely the first drive.
Take a shot, man. Go
North
deep.
Dakota is going to, we heard Spencer Danielson talk about it this week. Hey, they're going to test us because right now we haven't shown that we can fix our problems. And North Dakota is going to really go early and say, has Boise State fixed its problems in the secondary? That's going to be very interesting to see how the Broncos handle that and if they fix the problems.
500 plus yards in each of the first two games.
1,100 yards they've given up.
What's the big – I know they kind of go hand in hand, but if you could only see one thing tomorrow, would you rather see a much better pass defense or much more pressure on the quarterback?
I think the pressure.
And the pressure will lead to less production in the secondary over the long term.
Exactly. I think you need to see pressure. The one thing I'll say is, this is a team that is very run heavy. So don't just look at the sacks, I think, when you're looking at this stuff. Obviously, on the dropbacks, if Dimitri Washington or Ahmed Hassanin have a one-on-one, they've got to win those. They've got to win at least one or two. But also look at TFLs. I mean, this is a North Dakota team that loves like 1940s football.
Yeah.
Backyard, on the streets, whatever. They are going to try and run it up the gut as hard as possible. We're more physical than you. Try and stop us. And that's going to be a thing for Boise State is, hey, can they kind of close their gaps? Can they fill their gaps? Can they make sure they're the more physical team and kind of hold this North Dakota rushing attack in check? And then it's going to lead to the Hawks trying to throw the ball more. And if they're getting a pass rush still, they might not have any time to throw.
I know you said it may not matter much in this game, but through two games to not have a single sack from your D-line, that's pretty crazy.
No, it is. I think that Washington game was a tough one for just that O-line was so good, but they dropped back so many different times. You would have thought there would have been a couple opportunities. And against UCF, I mean, Plumlee still threw the ball a decent amount of times. Granted, that was a far more of a rush-heavy attack, but there were still opportunities to sack the passer. And it didn't seem like there were many even close calls aside from that one from, who was it? Notriani.
Yes. Tell us about him. You wrote a nice feature about him this week.
Yeah. Marco Notriani. I thought everyone.
Why are you mispronouncing it wrong? Come on.
I know. Everyone thought it was Notarini.
The coaches were saying that.
The coaches. These are the guys who recruited him. But yeah, I think he was one of the revelations of Boise State's defense last week. I didn't even realize it, but he started at Mike linebacker. DJ Schramm started at weak side. So that's showing you Marco in practice is performing better than Andrew Simpson. And right now it's kind of showing you how much the Boise State coaches think of him. And for your first start, it's hard to have a better game than he did. 6 tackles, led the team with 2 tackles for loss, had a fantastic, they called it a sack, but it was basically on a trick play and a double pass. He read that thing perfectly. He had the incredible wherewithal to kind of not go up the middle, but instead, close a gap on the outside on that 4th and 1. That was another red zone turnover for UCF. He was the best player on Boise State's defense. It would be hard to even say someone else. And he's going to be a guy to watch for. He's only a redshirt sophomore right now. He might have been able to get a medical year. So who knows how long he's actually going to play, but he's a guy coming into the year. No one really heard his name or thought much of him, and it looks like he might be a starter for the rest of the season.
Shout out Mike Sanford for letting us in on the correct pronunciation. Marco Notriani. Notriani, because he coached his brother at Colorado.
Yeah.
And you talked to his brother for the story. Hopefully folks will go read it.
Cool.
BroncoNationNews.com. We have a special promo going right now. The promo code is 20 off, just 20 OFF, and you get $20 off a yearly subscription. That makes it just $50 for a full year, $50, less than $1 a week to read all kinds of exclusive content from Mike Prater, Jordan, myself, And again, you can read all the pregame coverage, postgame coverage. 20 off is the promo code when you go to do a yearly subscription. It makes it $50. It's a limited time offer, and hopefully you just one-time fee, $50, and then you get a full year subscription to Bronco Nation News. Hopefully you'll take advantage of that today. And I'm going to put it up here on the screen while we're talking about it. But speaking of, stories at BroncoNationNews.com that Jordan K. wrote and put a lot of time and effort into. Tell us about the story that you posted on Thursday.
Yeah.
Really, really cool story about the Bronco, which is really cool. And I hope folks are getting a chance to check it out. Really cool, unique story that really, didn't have a whole lot to do with the action on the field. And you put a ton of time and effort into this. Tell us about this story.
Yeah, so I had heard about it a couple months ago and went out to a farm in Caldwell where I saw this old school 1984 Ford Bronco kind of parked at a family farm, just sitting there. I mean, talk about out of place. There's cows mooing as this blue and orange painted Bronco is just sitting on this farm. And it's a pretty cool story. I mean, the owner of it was a two-time Boise State grad, Troy Howell, whose son or nephew works for Boise State now, which is pretty cool. But he just loved Boise State, went to all the games. One of his buddies had a Bronco and kind of convinced his wife to, if it didn't sell, he'd paint it. And so they'd go to all the Boise State games. And this is back in the 90s when basically you could park anywhere for $5 and Troy's throwing tortillas on the field. They said he was the guy who got it banned because he hit a coach, but I haven't been able to fact check that. And paper airplanes and bringing a megaphone into the stadium. I mean, these were the old school Boise State days.
Yeah.
When no one really cared as much about, what anyone did. And yeah, he got this Bronco. He kind of the pride and joy, bought it, painted it, clear coated it, did all that stuff. And it was kind of the official tailgating truck for him and his family to go down to every Boise State game during the Fiesta Bowl season and the Chris Peterson era and the Kellen Moore era, and go sit on the east side of the stadium by that grass, the little white chapel, and just be able to talk to as many people as possible who wanted to come over and talk about the Bronco. And, in a couple years later, he kind of learned he had cancer. He passed away, unfortunately, in 2013. And then his family, I mean, this Bronco that really just didn't work at that point, it was just sitting in the driveway. And he's like, his family's like, I guess we got to sell it. Like, what else are we going to do with it? And so they sold it, got sold again, or went to an auction, I think, got sold again. Then his dad purchased it from a Nampa car lot.
Yeah.
Then he gave it to Boise State to restore. I don't know if they couldn't figure it out or what. It just sat in a parking lot on the south side of campus for 7 years. Then it was gone. So the family contacted the fleet manager. He's like, oh, we sold it to this guy. And, they really wanted something to feel closer to their dad. And so they kind of contacted the person and got the Bronco back. And now it's kind of a labor of love to try and, remember their dad and in something that he loved and something that kind of exemplified his personality.
Well, great story, and we made that one free for everybody. So even if you don't have a subscription, go check that one out and read the story. And it's a cool story that kind of reminds you there is more to what's going on the field, but also the impact that what goes on that field and this program does for families and generation after generation. But that is free to read, but hopefully you will go subscribe at BroncoNationNews.com. We're recording this on Friday. They are now open. Folks are coming in for lunch. Beautiful day here on the patio. You can see the stadium behind us. We are inching closer to kickoff inside Albertsons Stadium as you're watching this on a Saturday morning. The one nice thing about this is since we're not recording this live and we're not inside the stadium, we can take this thing right up to kickoff. So when this recording is over, it will be pretty much kickoff. You can end this recording, flip over to FS1, and the game will start right away. So we're doing this a little later in the morning. Again, sorry we don't have any injury updates. I can tell you we're probably not expecting George Helani to play.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, Taylon Green's been practicing all week.
Yep.
So we don't have the official injury report. Check our Twitter accounts right now because that's probably out by now. But I don't think we're feeling too worried about injury-wise other than George Helani probably.
I think George Helani, and the other one I'll look at is it'll be interesting to see if Ben Dooley plays. I mean, he got really, really banged up on the field during that UCF game and somehow powered through it. But just the way he looked on the field, I don't know if that was one of those things where the adrenaline was pumping so much that he could tough it out or if he's actually good to go. So watch for him too.
Mike Sanford's going to join us in just a minute, but I want to thank a couple more of our sponsors real quick. We're going to get a complete breakdown. It's going to be a new pregame regular appearance here from Mike Sanford. You love him on Ball Talk. Now you get him here on the pregame show. But first, want to tell you about BVA Ball Ventures Alquist. We appreciate them. Idaho's developer. All kinds of commercial, residential, any kind of real estate space you're looking for. They can help you out. They obviously have the Eagle View Landing, Topgolf. We're going to be doing our first broadcast from Topgolf coming up in early October. We'll be telling you more about that. But thank you to BVA Ball Ventures Alquist. They are Idaho's developer. Taco Bell as well, right up the road here. They're finishing up the work on their Broadway location. So TacoBellWorks.com. They are donating more than $300,000 to student-athlete scholarships at Boise State for the men's and women's basketball team. So support a local company that is supporting Boise State, and that is Taco Bell. Next time you're looking to head out for a quick bite to eat. The Cutwater Spirits, our mobile studios here at the James. Cutwater Spirits, more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. Make sure you pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. And our friends over at Circa Sports, we've made our decision on the Survivor. We're going to be going with a team that lost 40-0 last week, and we're going against your.
That's a terrible
against
pick,
your.
BJ.
You think the Arizona Cardinals are going to get to 1-1 this week?
I think they got a shot.
All right.
I don't like the Giants very much right now.
We will see what happens, but there's a strategy involved. You got to get to all.
The Cardinals,
you got to get
strategy.
Them or the. It'll be the Washington Commanders going against them from here on out too.
They're not terrible.
$14 million in guaranteed prizes. The contest is over, but Circa Sports would love to have you stay there. Go visit them, check them out, and Circa Sports, Circa Resort and Casino. You can get more information, obviously, online, circaLasVegas.com. But our friends at Circa, we're actually working with KTIK. We got some cool stuff in the works, potentially announcing soon for the Mountain West basketball tournament. There may be a pretty big party down there, Jordan, that we'll even invite you to for Circa Resort and Casino. So thanks to our friends there at Circa. And again, anytime you're looking to place some wagers, go watch some games, have a nice hotel to stay at. Hopefully you will do that, our friends at Circa Resort and Casino. Before we get to Mike Sanford's breakdown, he's getting ready to join us, of North Dakota.
Yeah.
You did the film study with North Dakota.
Yeah.
You touched on it a little bit already, but what's your scouting report here of the 2-0 North Dakota Fighting Hawks?
This is a team that, I mean, it just has it's an offense that knows what it's doing. There's a lot of plays where sometimes they're going to go smash mouth football and line up 7 guys on the offensive line and basically just push forward. And one of the things that's interesting is they trust their receiver. They have a top receiver, number 1. I think his name's Bo Burnquist. Boise State's defensive backs, when I just kind of asked him, hey, what do you see from number 1? Those guys raved about him. And this is not a thing of where guys are raving just for no reason. I mean, they're pretty honest about things. I mean, they were all said, this guy could play on our team. This guy could play in any Mountain West team. He is that good. And North Dakota is fine throwing him jump balls. I mean, this is kind of what, a lot of fans want to see from Boise State is, hey, throw a jump ball to Eric McAllister, Prince Strawn, and let him come down with it. Matt Miller says Frisbee catching dogs. That's what he wants his receivers to be. Well, that's what Bo Burnquist is. He's a guy who's going to come down with almost all those 50-50 balls. And because he is so lethal on the outside, it kind of, in some ways, helps their rushing attack. And they've got, they've had 8 guys run the ball 2 times or more. This is kind of a running back by committee, but they've got a one tailback, I think number 28, who is kind of their bell cow a little bit. And he's had a couple over some big runs, one for 80 yards almost last week.
Well, let's get to Mike Sanford. Mike Sanford breaking down North Dakota. Excited to have Coach Sanford on here. You love him on Ball Talk, and now you get him on the pregame show as well. Mike Sanford, the floor is yours here. Take it away, sir.
Hey, Bronco Nation. Wish I could be there with you on the blue today. Big game for our Broncos to rebound on the blue. After a tough opening 2 weeks, some of the best teams in college football. And now we get one of the best teams in all of FCS football in the University of North Dakota, playing extremely confident brand of football through the first 2 games, a demolishing against Drake in the opener, a team they should blow out of the water, but then a very impressive win a week ago for the Fighting Hawks against the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks. And it really in a game that that saw University of North Dakota go up in that game 37-9. Final score is a little bit closer than that, but one thing that I've seen in studying this team and watching film on University of North Dakota is that, the state of North Dakota has been playing really good football at the FCS level, South Dakota as well. A lot of creativity. This is a team with a veteran-laden receiving core, running back group, quarterback that's been starting for a majority of the last 3-4 seasons. And this is a Tommy Schuster that's completing this season 76.7% of his passes, very efficient. You're going to see a lot of quick game. You're going to see a team that when they get into situational football, they're going to believe they're going to run the ball right at you, right through you, and get into heavy personnel sets. This is a defense, I think it's a bend but don't break defense. And I think one of the keys to this game for Boise State is to start fast. Get out on that blue, wake up, get the sleepers out of your eyes. This is a team that in their first quarter on the season, the University of North Dakota has only outscored their opponents 6-0. So if they sleepwalk into Albertsons Stadium, I'd love to see a quick 21 spot get put up on University of North Dakota. Where it gets a little bit messy is when they get into the second and third quarter, where they've outscored opponents a combined 66-9 in second and third quarters of this season. We broke down some tape. Would love to roll that. And let's talk a little bit about
UND on first and goal.
Like I said, they're going to get physical. They're going to get downhill. It's 23 personnel. With an extra defensive lineman playing fullback, they're going to use all their beef to try to move a Boise State defensive front that should be bigger, should be, nastier, more physical. But you can see their pad level, leg drive. There's a belief in what they do. Here they are again in another goal line situation. Quarterback sneak now with some creativity in the motion. They have the up back in a position to push the quarterback. As you can see, these guys are going to dance around, be confident. Let's do everything we can today to silence them, not let them dance around on the blue whatsoever. You can see here, this is a coverage sack. Northern Arizona, the Lumberjacks, this is a mesh concept they ran in a critical red zone down, and it ends up being a coverage sack, a fumble, and a scoop and score opportunity for the University of North Dakota. This is a team that they're confident. They're looking to make plays. These are those kind of statement plays that North Dakota is going to want to make in a game that everybody's going to give them no chance to win. And you can kind of see right here, a 5-man rush. So it's a pressure. They do a very good job passing off the mesh concept, the shallow crossers that NAU ran right there. And we're able to jump routes and create a coverage sack in a critical situation. And see a little bit later, this is Tommy Schuster. They do have two quarterbacks. They put in another quarterback, Trey Feeney, to throw deep passes, but this one actually is Tommy Schuster. And you can see why they bring Trey Feeney in. He's not a downfield threat to throw the football. I would say if Trey Feeney, number 3, enters the game, they're trying to push the ball down the field vertically because they saw something on tape from the first 2 games. But Tommy Schuster is more of a, throw the ball in front of you. You can see this guy is wide open. The route was essentially underthrown by Schuster by 8 to 10 yards, but still finds Pater with some creativity on the route running by the North Dakota Fighting Hawks. Here we are once again, getting over the top. I think they have a good group of running backs. One thing that I've noticed is that they distribute carries very evenly to a slew of running backs. It's usually a sign of a veteran team, a bunch of guys that have been solid contributors for several years, and they have a completely bought in, invested team to share responsibilities. And then this is really putting the exclamation point on their victory against NAU. NAU scored 2 garbage touchdowns late, but the 37-9 in the fourth quarter against a very proud Lumberjack program at NAU. North Dakota's going to bring it. They're going to come in here trying to do the unthinkable, which is an FCS team coming into Albertsons Stadium and taking what is rightfully ours, and that's home field advantage. We need to come out here and start fast. Bronco Nation, get out, get there early. 10 a.m. is a strange kickoff time. I always say BYOJ, so bring your own juice, Bronco Nation. And I expect these players to find that killer instinct in this game against a team that's going to come in with a lot of confidence, but let's take that confidence away early. Catch us on Ball Talk on Monday, and we'll recap this game as well as a preview of what's to come. Go Broncos.
There he is, Mike Sanford. Appreciate him for coming on. You wondered why he shaved.
I know.
He just decided I think his wife likes it better when he
Really?
shaves. I don't know,
Wow.
but
So we both go with the beard. Come on, Mike.
he looks like a different person there when he's when he shaved. But obviously, he's saying North Dakota they do present some problems. But again, this is. I get the sense that this is not a game that can even be in question if you're a Boise State fan. This has to be whether it, even 38-14, whatever. I mean, whether it's 20 points, 30, 40, this just, you're 0-2. You've played two good teams. You claim, if Andy Avalos' claims that they are a good team are true, you got to show it today.
You got to show it. And if this is a game where if Boise State struggles, it's probably not going to be because of North Dakota. It's probably going to be because of Boise State. And that's one of the things I think coaches probably have harped on all week is, hey, guys, don't worry about who you're playing. You got to worry about yourself because there's a lot of things right now to clean up, a lot of things to fix. And if you just do those things right, I'm sure they don't say this part, but, the speed, talent, athleticism, that stuff is going to come to light if you just do the things correctly. So, yeah, you're right, BJ. This is one that Boise State has to win and probably has to win at least a little convincingly.
Hey, if you're looking for a dentist, check out Boise Dentistry Co., boisedentistryco.com, 5 locations across the Treasure Valley. Dr. Miner and his staff make it a fun, enjoyable experience to go to the dentist. So check them out. 208-906-1255, boisedentistryco.com. If you need commercial insurance, business insurance, Bronco Nation News, we get our business insurance from UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. 229-8222. They are a locally based company here in Meridian, but they can help you all over the United States. In fact, 44 of the 50 states, they can write business policy insurance. So we're happy clients of United Commercial Insurance, and you can too at UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shop Ridley's.com. You need a local community grocery store, think Ridley's Family Markets, that Cuno location, frequent that often, Middleton, Star, Weiser, 13 locations across the state of, there you go, Pocatello, Blackfoot, Rupert, all over the place. They got 13 of them in the state of Idaho. They got surrounding states as well. So check them out. Big supporters of BNN. We appreciate them at Ridley's Family Markets. If you're looking for some healthy eating, you can also go to Lean Feast. LeanFeast.com/Meridian. Whether you want to go there in person on Eagle Road, right by U-Stick, right next to the Five Guys there, you can, pick how much you want, the portions, and make it customized right there. Or you can just do it all online, and they'll deliver it to you. You never even have to go in. They only need like a 2-hour wait time. And we're talking shrimp, chicken, fish, over 10,000 combinations of meals. You pick how much you want. You pick what you want. It's not some frozen meal that shows up. It's all fully customizable. They're now giving weekly meals to the football team, weekly meals to the basketball team. They got NIL deals with Taylor Green and Tyson Degenhart and some others. So if you're looking to improve your eating, my weight is down, and it's thanks to Lean Feast. I eat it pretty much exclusively. So check it out, leanfeast.com/Meridian. And of course, Matt Bauscher, number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. He's ready for basketball season to start. Couple more weeks till practice. BauscherRealEstate.com, the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. And I know you were out at Timberstone recently. Course still in good shape?
Course was in good shape. Greens were very nice. It was a beautiful, beautiful night. We even got there we were one of the later tee times. Incredible sunset.
Really?
Over the course.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool, playing into 11 as the sun is setting and a nice little cotton candy sky. Beautiful pictures.
PlayTimberstone.com. Book your tee time right now. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to see Jordan Kaye out there on the course in the rare moments that he's not penning another award-winning article. You can see him out at Timberstone Golf Course. Book your tee time at PlayTimberstone.com. Okay, hopefully you have your score predictions in. We're still doing the gift card to the James. We're giving away a $25 gift card to the James. Get your score predictions in at kickoff. We will look and see where they're at. We'll stop it so you can't come in later and put your score prediction in. But we will.
And what do we do? So the closest score, or do you got to get it right on?
No, it's the closest score, and it's total points, and it's
total point. It should be how far you're off from each team.
And that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So if you're 1 off of Boise State and you're 4 off of theirs, that's 5.
Okay.
And then tiebreaker. If there's a tiebreaker, it's closest to Boise State's score. Is how we'll do that. We have a $25 gift card to the James. So get your score predictions in now. Final thing as we wrap this up. What is your score prediction, Jordan Kaye?
I think Boise State wins, and I think it's kind of going to teeter on what fans think. So I'm going with 38-23. 38-23.
23, okay.
3 field goals from North Dakota. I like Boise State's red zone defense. 2 touchdowns, 3 field goals, and I think Boise State's going to score, 7 touchdowns and a field goal.
Okay. I think Boise State gets, for the first time this season, over the 40-point plateau.
Okay.
I got 42-20.
Okay.
42-20.
It'd be the first time they've got over 22.
Yeah, that's
or 30.
Yes. I don't know how good North Dakota is. I'm not really buying into the hype of this game being and if you're Boise State and if you're a good team and you're a team capable of winning the Mountain West, you cannot be, pussyfooting around with North Dakota. All right. You gotta win this game and win it rather easily. We'll see what the crowd ends up being. We'll see what the atmosphere ends up being. But this is a game that Boise State has to take control early, score early, get some momentum, and get the downfield passing going. Pad your stats a little bit in this game. I know North Dakota is a decent team, so I'm not going to say, 55-0 or something. I get it. They're an okay FCS. They're a ranked FCS team, okay? They're a quality team, but that does not mean they should be able to come into the blue and compete for 4 quarters if Boise State thinks they're going to run through the Mountain West and win a Mountain West championship.
Yep.
So I got somewhere around 42-20, 42-17, something like that. I think Boise State offense gets going. I think the defense comes up with a couple turnovers. I'm even going to say there's going to be a defensive or special teams touchdown in this game. I think
let's get
either a blocked punt for a touchdown maybe, or maybe some sort of fumble return. But I think if there was your prop bet at your local establishment has a defensive or special teams touchdown in this game, maybe sprinkle a little bit on that. I want to
see a James Ferguson Reynolds touchdown. Either or just a first down. I want to see him take off after a punt.
It's coming at some point.
He's the holder. All he's got to do, pull it, run right to the end zone.
Well, I think at some point here with his the way the Australian style.
Yeah.
At some point he's going to just have a wide open first down and go for it. But I actually hope, and I don't think they're going to see much of James Ferguson Reynolds in this game.
That could be big too. But he's going to be out there for field goals. But I guess you're right. Maybe they don't even see those.
Go subscribe, BroncoNationNews.com, $50 for a 1-year subscription. Again, that's less than $1 a week to get exclusive content and coverage from Jordan, from Mike Prater, from myself. Use the promo code 20, just 20 off, OFF, 20 OFF. In the coupon code when you're putting in a yearly subscription, and it comes down to $50 for the year. It gives you $20 off. We'd love to have you. One-time fee. You'll be able to read all of Jordan's post-game stuff. Mike Prater is writing a post-game column as well. And most importantly, we hope to see you right here at the James after the game. We're going to be back over here hanging out with the post-game show. Kent Riddle will be here. Maybe another former coach, which I don't want to divulge the name yet, might be stopping by for an appearance as well. You never know who you'll see show up at the James. So come on by after the game. Hopefully celebrate a big Boise State victory. We'll have the beverages will be flowing. They got good food here, the pizza, and we'll be breaking down the game. And as a reminder, it's usually about 45 minutes. We got to go interview Andy, interview the players, and then we'll come back over here after the game. So if you're going to the game or you're doing something, you have about 45 minutes to get home if you are going home or whatever. But then pop on that big screen TV, pop on that YouTube app, open up Bronco Nation News, and you can watch our post-game show full screen right there on your TV. So if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, go to YouTube, subscribe at the bottom of the page, and then from now on, be using that YouTube app on your smart TV.
Yeah.
And I know that you can watch us just what you want to see, you and me on a big screen TV. But that's the easiest way to do it, and it's no different than like watching ESPN or KTVB or whatever else. You can watch us on all of our live shows on YouTube right there on your TV. So appreciate everybody for checking out the pregame show. Again, sorry we taped it here, but just a lot going on here this morning, getting ready for the game. We are in the press box, probably eating our breakfast burritos, getting ready for kickoff. Kickoff just moments away. So switch over to FS1. Enjoy the game. Thanks for sticking us out here on the pregame show, Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. And again, we will be back live at the James right here for the post-game show about 45 minutes after the end of the game. So go subscribe, YouTube, the site, enjoy the game. We'll talk to you afterwards. He's Jordan Kaye. I'm BJ Rains. This has been the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show presented by RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, right here at Bronco Nation News, at BroncoNationNews.com.